Sup guys, quick question, but like, not really quick if you think about it. How did you actually end up doing what you're doing right now, work-wise? Like seriously, did you plan it out? Did you just kind of fall into it? Did someone nudge you in that direction without you even realizing? Because I swear this is one of those conversations people just skip. Like we talk about money, jobs, stress, but not the actual origin story. Not the how did I end up here part, and that part matters way more than people think. And I'm not coming at this like I've got it all figured out. Far from it. I'm bringing it up because I messed this up properly. Took some wrong turns, stayed too long in the wrong lanes, and yeah, paid for it in time, energy, mental space, all of it. So if you're watching this and you're kinda in that figuring it out phase, or even worse, pretending you figured it out, just stick with me for a minute, because the choices you make in your 20s around work, they stick in ways nobody really warns you about. People say it casually, like, oh yeah, it matters, but they don't explain how deep that goes. It's not just about what you do from 9 to 5. It's about how you feel when you wake up. It's about your energy, your mood, how you show up around people. If you're in the wrong thing, it leaks into everything. And it doesn't hit you all at once either. That's the sneaky part. At first it's chill. You're like, all right, I've got a job, I'm earning, I'm moving forward. Feels decent. Then a few months in, you're like, okay, this is kind of repetitive, but whatever, that's work, right? Then a year in, Sundays start feeling a bit heavy. You get that little knot in your chest late afternoon, like, yeah, I'm not excited for tomorrow. Then it keeps going. And suddenly, you're sitting there midweek, staring at your screen, and this thought just drops in out of nowhere. Wait, is this actually it? And once that thought lands, man, it's hard to shake, because now you're not just working, you're questioning everything while you're working. And the worst part, from the outside, your life looks fine. You've got a job, money's coming in, you're not struggling in an obvious way. So when you feel off, you almost feel guilty about it. Like, why am I complaining? So what do? You push through. You tell yourself it's normal. Everyone feels like this. Just keep going. And you do. For way longer than you probably should. Until something inside you goes, yeah, nah, this isn't it. So for me, I'll keep it real. I ended up in law enforcement. Not because it was some lifelong dream, not because I had this deep calling. I was broke. Like, properly broke. And when you're in that situation, your decision-making becomes very simplified. You're not out here soul-searching. You're asking two questions. Does it pay? Is it stable? If the answer is yes, you're in. And honestly, that makes sense. Survival mode doesn't leave a lot of room for reflection. But that's also where things can go sideways, because you end up choosing something based on urgency, not alignment. And yeah, people around you influence it too, whether you notice it or not. Family, friends, random opinions. That's a solid career. That sounds respectable. That's a smart move. And slowly, without even clocking it, you start drifting toward those paths. Not necessarily because they fit you, but because they feel safe, approved, recognized. And again, nobody's trying to mess you up. People mean well. They just want you to be okay. But okay and fulfilled are not the same thing. And that gap is where a lot of people get stuck. Because you can be stable and still feel completely off. And that's a weird place to be. So yeah, I got into it. And to be fair, it's not a bad career. There are people who thrive in it. People who genuinely feel like they're doing something meaningful every day. Respect to that. I just wasn't built for it. And you don't always realize that immediately. At first, you're just adapting, learning, getting through it. But over time, you start feeling the mismatch. And when you're in something that already doesn't fit you, and it's also high pressure, demanding, mentally heavy, yeah, that combo hits different. And I stayed longer than I should have, not because I loved it, but because leaving felt like failing, like starting over, like going backwards. And nobody likes that feeling. So you stay, you tolerate it, you convince yourself it's fine. Meanwhile, you're slowly draining your energy, doing something that doesn't click. And here's another thing people don't really talk about, how subtle the pressure is when you're choosing your path. It's not like someone sits you down and says, do this. It's more like a vibe. Certain careers feel safe, others feel risky. Some paths get approval, others get side eyes, and you absorb all of that over time. So when you finally make a decision, it feels like it's yours. But if you really break it down, it's influenced by a lot of external noise. And that matters, because you might end up living a life that technically makes sense but doesn't feel like yours. Now, something I think about a lot, and this is where things get interesting, is how different things are now when it comes to information. Like seriously, the access you have today is crazy. You can literally go online and see what almost any career actually looks like. Not the polished version, the real version. Day-to-day routines, pros, cons, people being honest about what sucks. You've got breakdowns of freelancing, business, investing, side hustles, all of it. And it's just there, free, on your phone. I didn't have that. So a lot of my decisions, they weren't just bad decisions, they were made with limited visibility. And that's a different problem. So if you're in a position now where you can explore, research, test things before committing, use that. Don't just default to the first safe option that shows up, because once you lock into something, changing direction later gets harder. Not impossible, but heavier. So yeah, if I could go back and tweak a few things, first one, I would have taken my side projects way more seriously. I had stuff that was actually working, not just ideas. Real traction, real money, real potential. But I treated it like a side thing, like a hobby, because it didn't look official, it didn't have a title, it wasn't secure. And that's a trap a lot of people fall into. If something doesn't look traditional, you downplay it, even if it's literally working. Meanwhile, you keep pouring energy into the thing that looks better on paper, but feels worse in reality. Second, investing. I won't go deep into it, but yeah, starting earlier matters a lot. Time does most of the work, and if you delay that, you feel it later. And the biggest one, I would have slowed down, actually paused and asked myself what I wanted, not what was available, not what looked good, not what people approved of, what actually made sense for me, because available and right are not the same thing. But when you're young, stressed, and trying to get your life together, they feel the same, until they don't. And by the time you realize it, you're already a few years deep. Anyway, that's my experience with it. I'm still figuring things out, like most people, but at least now it feels like I'm moving in a direction that actually fits, and that alone makes a massive difference. I'm curious about you though. Did you plan your path? Did you just fall into it? Are you still trying to piece it together? Drop it in the comments. Seriously, I read them, and I like seeing how different people ended up where they are. All right, that's it for this one. Catch you in the next one.